What's going on, everyone, and thanks for joining me for another great conversation. As always, I appreciate you guys. This next episode is a very special episode because if you've been following this podcast from episode 1, you will see the journey of Jose trying to work on something to be able to leave his 9 to 5, and the day has finally come. I have put in my 2-week notice for my job, and I'm happy to announce that so has my wife. This episode is for all of you guys that punch in every single day to a 9 to 5 that you hate and feel that there's no way out. There is. You just got to keep chopping wood. I hope you guys enjoy. A habit of this. The last few episodes, I have literally wasted the first 9 minutes. It happened in the previous episode. Listen, when machines act up. This old lady here has been with me probably like 2-3 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's not that she's not capable, it's that she's cluttered. And I'm talking about my laptop here.
Not me.
Yeah, not you. But we just did 5 minutes and lost it. And then yesterday I was doing a podcast and we did like 10 minutes and we lost it in the beginning. So hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Guys, this episode is awesome. This episode will have been recorded a week and a half before it actually airs. So when this episode airs, we will be in Austin, Texas on a trip. And I wanted to make sure that I leave you guys with some content. But this is a really juicy one, especially for y'all that are still working your 9 to 5. Because Irma and I have done something that's extremely rare. Now, we can't give you this like Tony Robbins breakdown on how we did it, right? Because a lot of things, could say it was the universe, luck, whatever you want to call it. But I still keep reminding myself, and when I was talking earlier in the conversation that I was having, we work extremely hard.
Right.
That is a variable that if you're watching and you're listening at your 9 to 5 and you work extremely hard, that is a variable that will always pay off in the long run. It may not seem like it. It may seem like you're suffering. So I want to say that before I say anything else in this conversation, because that's very important to know. Anything else that follows after this, understand that we work extremely hard. None of this is luck for sake. But what is Jose talking about?
2-week notices?
2-week notices. So
Yep.
Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations to you.
So thank you so much. So Irma and I have put in my 2-week notice for my day job, which I have been at 11 years. And we didn't expect it to happen in dominoes. We did expect it to happen really soon because we did plan for both of us to do it. But within, it was 4 or 5 days. It was like a quick turnaround where then Irma was able to put in her 2-week notice. And now we're actually on a trajectory, on a path to do way better things, faster things.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you feel? How does it feel to put in a 2-week notice?
I'm very excited.
How long have you been at that place? I forgot. It's like 6+, right?
I actually just got to 7 years last week.
7 years at one place.
And no one even noticed.
And explain that.
No one noticed.
About your 2-week notice or that you worked there?
Oh, no, that I've been there for 7 years.
Well, who's supposed to notice?
I don't know. I guess normally...
Do you want a pen?
I guess normally management would, right?
Yeah.
But no, she's brand new with us, so...
Your manager is now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those situations. So it feels good because first of all, it feels good because you now have control of what you want to do with your day. That's first important. But I think you and I realized that we were, what a lot of people take a long time to realize is that we were getting used in a sense, right? So we were melting away is the way I like to say it. But it's one of those things where, if you believe that you're only worth, let's just be nice and say $15, $16 an hour, right?
Yeah.
That is all you're going to get. But when you see like the year-end number of that, like when you see that, X amount of dollars only gets you $35,000 a year, and you see like the really good, comfortable way of living is 6 figures, and you only make 35, and you spend 8 hours at a day somewhere, that's crippling.
Yeah.
It's bad for the soul. So how did it feel when you sent the email to your boss?
Relief?
Yeah. Relief. Leading up to it, though, how did it feel?
Relief?
Yeah.
That's good.
I was anxious leading up to it. I don't know why.
I just a little bit, but really not much because I feel like it's due.
Yeah.
we have worked hard. You have worked hard.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's scary.
it,
Yeah,
it is,
yeah.
but exciting.
And we didn't really have like a solid plan. We had a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
I guess what people would say, jumping off in the deep end of the pool,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe without a life jacket. I think that's a Nipsey line. But yeah, it's that feeling. Like we had a
Mm-hmm.
rough idea of what we wanted to do, but the traditional way of doing it, which was, hey, you should have 6 months worth of finances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we could scrap up 6 months worth of finances, and I'm sure we have it in different areas, but we
Yeah.
didn't have like an emergency fund of 6 months.
No.
We had an idea, and we worked hard towards it, but we took a
It
chance
was a
on ourselves.
goal, but
Huh?
said it was a goal, but
It was a goal, yeah. We put away into, and it's no secret now. We put away a lot into Bitcoin. But the thing about
yeah.
Bitcoin is that we don't want to give our Bitcoin up. And now that Irma's here, and anybody who follows Talking to Bits, and anybody that follows me, my wife is orange pilled. This isn't just Jose. She knows her sats, and she knows
I
what the
do.
goal is. I just wanted, because people probably think that I'm lying and that I'm making this stuff up. You got to
No,
vouch for
no.
me here. Are
You
you orange pilled?
definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm still learning as I go. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, it's still really cool to watch it though. Like I understand the basics of it at least, and knowing how it works and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, and no, and seeing like the whole El Salvador thing.
Yeah. Super huge. Yeah. Shout out
Yeah,
to El Salvador.
yeah, no, for sure. And I know enough to know how huge that is. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
And how to use it as a storage mechanism. So
mhm.
like we have funneled a lot of our funds. We basically put a lot of trust into our Bitcoin asset, because if I'm not mistaken, it's probably the only asset we trust. I mean, we have
Yeah,
other things, but we that's a big thing, guys. That we may not have had 6 months, but we trust the asset that we own and possessed, and
hmm,
we trust in ourselves. I don't want that to get lost
yeah,
in the mix. Like we've been working on this stuff, obviously this podcast, and many different things. Your baking is going fantastic.
it
So
is.
we didn't
Yeah.
just get up in the morning and say enough's enough, but we also didn't kick and scream.
Hmm.
We kind of kicked. I kicked and screamed. But what I mean is, even though I kicked and screamed, we still showed up to work every day. We still did
Yeah.
what we had to do. We still did our jobs responsibly, and we still did stuff on the side to try to make sure we wouldn't do that forever.
Yeah.
That's another thing I think people forget. Some people are
Hmm.
frustrated at work, but are doing nothing on the
Right.
side
Yeah.
to try to, get away from that.
Or they feel like they probably can't. They have to match that, or they need something better, and they feel like they can't get that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or so they tell themselves. Um,
Yeah. I think we just don't believe in ourselves a lot. I think it's just one
yeah,
of the, and
for
I've learned
sure.
that through this podcast experience, about 90 episodes in, 91 episodes in.
Hmm.
And I've learned that. It's like we just don't believe in ourselves, and other people believe in us a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big, jumping off the diving board, like they say, when you put in your 2 weeks. I think people just
Hmm.
literally, um, they fear that they don't trust themselves, that they can't do better than $17 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, a lot of people build their lives around this $17 an hour, right? So they get a paycheck
Hmm.
and they pretty much know what's going on. I
Hmm.
got this much to pay this bill. I got this much to pay that bill. I got a little bit to put away or have some fun. And then on the weekend, I may have some drinks with the fellas or the
Yeah.
ladies, whichever way you go.
But you fear what you don't know, and as
Right.
long as you're at your job, you know you're gonna get that steady paycheck.
For sure.
So you know you're gonna have the money you need to pay your bills and stuff like that. Whereas obviously you just
Mm.
put in your 2 week notice, so you just leave.
Yeah.
You try to wing it, and you just don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
Um,
Tell me if this makes any idea. This could sound very conspiracy theorist or whatever. But when you change your vision to understand that that's set up for you to be scared.
mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like they want you to only think you're going to make 17 bucks, and they
Yeah,
make a living just affordable enough for you to live with 17 bucks. So it's sort of one of those things where you don't see what it's like to have more.
yeah, yeah.
So like this, they kind of
They
play
make you
you.
feel like
Yeah,
like
jobs definitely fuck
mhm.
with you psychologically.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah, because it's that feeling
yeah,
of like when you call in and you feel guilty as fuck.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
we're paying you $17 an hour, and
yeah.
but you're like you only pay me $17.
Yeah, go look for a job that can match this and go and all that. And we
Yeah.
got and they do their numbers. We got 401k and health insurance or whatever.
Hmm.
And if the person, I worked there 11 years. If a person just doesn't, and I've had people from, and I'm gonna call them out just because the Vanessa,
Yeah.
right? Like the Anyas, like these people that basically continuously tell me over and over, "What are you doing here? You should be
Hmm.
doing some better stuff." And this isn't my example. And I guess I didn't believe in myself enough to. Well, I'm actually trying to raise a family, and I'm trying to learn. as I
Yeah.
grow. I'm growing. I'm a young adult, so I'm growing as I try to build a family with you. So it's not just that I'm not believing what they're saying. Is I don't see the opportunity where I can escape
Yeah.
long enough to be able to continue the things that we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you see the other way about it, which is like I'm worth more than this. I
Hmm.
shouldn't be doing this job over and over again. If you notice, a lot of jobs are like autopilot jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, if it's easy for you, if you show up to work and you can do whatever you want, and it's easy for
Hmm.
you, you're gonna think it's easy money. But you can do more.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough thing to go by.
It is, especially when you're doing the same thing every day and you're not really learning anything new.
Yeah.
Um.
Or in my situation, when you're learning so much, but you can't use it in your day job, it's
Yeah.
worthless in your day job. That's how I felt frustrated. Very like my last six
It's like a
months.
big anchor.
Yeah,
Make you
like my
stuck
last
there.
6 months. I don't even want to name names, but my last 6 months at my job, it's just been that. It's like, look,
Hmm.
I can do it. I can probably do it with my blindfolded. Like I'm that
Yeah.
confident in it, but it doesn't excite me. There's a world of
Yeah.
things that are happening around me, and then the old thing where there's only so much time you have. You show up to work, you have all these ideas, you're expressive, but
Hmm.
then you see your kids. You want to hang out with your kids. You see your wife. You want to hang out with your wife, or the normal everyday stuff happens. Somebody calls you out the blue and says they need a ride
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's super hard, man. So that's kind of
Hmm.
why I wanted this episode. Not for nothing. Is
Yeah.
a to congratulate you because it's fantastic. It's something rare, but anybody who's listening to get some type of hope, some
It
type
definitely
of
is.
there
Yeah.
is a way out.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you got kids, I don't know what it takes. I mean, I do know what it takes. A lot of work. I
Hmm.
don't. You got to pick up some. You have to just like understand that they are stealing the time that you have to be with the people that you want to be with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, they shouldn't
They're
be
gonna
allowed to
say
do that.
they miss you, but as soon as they have to get the next person in there, and
Yeah,
and they're gonna learn it, and they're gonna be just fine,
yeah,
and that's it.
yeah. No. I'm by no means am I saying
It's
I'm gonna feel bad when I'm
mm-hmm.
gone, but the anxiety that led up to put in my 2 week notice,
Yeah.
they make you feel, like they manipulate so they make you
Mm-hmm.
feel so like to the point where you feel bad
Mm-hmm.
or you feel anxious that you're doing something wrong, and what you're doing is you're.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I got great responses. They seem
That's
excited
awesome.
for me. I don't care if they really are or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been professional while I've been there. I've worked very hard for them, and it was cool for them to at least acknowledge that I worked very hard for them. And that's
Yeah.
cool. But I'm
Yeah.
moving on.
No, it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. Yours is great. I told you this before, but this could be. I don't even know if I should be saying out loud, but as a person, as a man,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to lead the pack, right? Like it's one
Yeah.
of those things. Now you've always been like, you know, for better use of the term, my right hand man, like my friend, like the person
Yep.
that's like, no, listen, we dig in the mud together. We don't dig separately, and
Mm-hmm.
then I sit around whatever. You've always been like, no, I want to do a business. I want to work a job. I want to be able to contribute.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always been, how do I solve this problem fast enough to where I could basically, you know, have Irma put in her 2 weeks, but also not be at UMass myself. I just
Mm-hmm.
said UMass. It is UMass. But yeah, anybody who follows this podcast knows. But it's one of those things. And for we talked about it earlier, lucky things are happening.
Yeah.
A lot of dominoes are falling in place. And I have to think that it's the universe saying, "Here, man, like here's a nice one for you
Mm-hmm.
because you've shown time and time again that you're committed, that you're well executed,
Yeah.
and those things." But
I feel like the worse you feel, and the more you feel like you're struggling a lot, the closer you are to whatever your breakthrough is, if you
yeah,
want to call it a breakthrough. It's not a
sure.
breakthrough. It's um but yeah, maybe you want to put it like that, like the universe is seeing how far it can test you. And it's like right when you feel like, I just can't. It's like
Yeah.
the doors do start opening, and things start falling into place.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you did good. Here
But
you go.
it's a universal humanity thing, right? It's what
Hmm.
religious people call God, right? Like God is blessing you, or whatever
Yeah.
they say, or whatever normal people say.
Karma.
You're really lucky, karma. You got good
Hmm.
vibes. It's like a universal instinct thing where I think the
Yeah.
Stoics called it the logos.
Hmm.
And I think it's just one of those things where it's like I was talking to Adam a few days ago, and it's like we're always trying to like have our minds wander like ahead of
Yeah.
us, like in what's about to happen next. But what's about to happen next, it's set. There's nothing that can be done. It's certain
Yeah.
actions you take and certain things they could do, and you kind and I kind of subscribe to that. I think that's not a bad way to look at it. That goes along the lines of like everything's preordained for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, even I do subscribe to that, but that seems far fetched. But I see this situation happening where like a card game. Sometimes you
Mhm.
got a hot hand, and sometimes the cards that
Yeah.
you keep getting just seem to be the right cards.
Mhm.
And then something's happened, right? Like when you're playing poker, for example. If you're scared and you don't got the balls, you're gonna miss out. You can have a great hand and miss out on the nice winning streaks because you're not taking the right action.
Mhm.
Same thing in life. I think
Yeah.
you have the right cards in your hand, and then fear, anxiety, and these things kind of rock you back and forth.
Mhm.
And if you can fight through those things and drop that hand, you're probably gonna win more often than not.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the last month or so for you and I, for me, I'll speak personally, have been like 1,000 miles per hour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Completely different from even 2 months ago.
yeah,
It's like we weren't even here yet in
yeah,
our goals 2 months ago. So it's like we're way ahead of schedule. Things are kind of just falling into place, and
yeah. It's
yeah,
insane. And,
yeah.
and to protect our privacy and respect our privacy, we won't get into details on what we say these dominoes are, but just understand that we didn't have them 2 months ago. We didn't know what the
No.
heck we were doing.
Yep.
I was struggling, and this is for everybody with a vulnerable moment, but even a person who writes a book about mindset
Mhm.
can struggle with his mindset.
Oh
And that's what
yeah.
happened. I dropped my book, and then immediately after that, I struggled
Mhm.
with my mindset.
Mhm.
And my mind, it was really that. It was just I started learning too much too fast,
Mhm.
right? So when you go down the financial Bitcoin, what is money rabbit hole? I don't even want. I say the word Bitcoin, and I love saying the word Bitcoin, but I think some people shut off their brain when you say the word Bitcoin. But
Yeah.
what I mean is when I started learning what value is, how money
Mhm.
works, it just teaches you too much. And then I said this in the podcast yesterday, so it might sound like a repeat to the listeners, but I looked at my parents the other day, and I was just
Mhm.
like, damn it, they stole their life away from them. They
Yeah.
stole their life away from them. There's nothing that they could do. They could have got lucky and they could have made some things or whatever. But from the situation they came from, which is an island, Puerto
Mhm.
Rico, coming here, living in projects and housing,
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
all these systems or whatever, they never had the opportunity to be able to either learn or to be able to adjust enough to be able to save their future.
Mhm.
And that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
And then
It
I,
is really hard, especially like when you're starting to figure this stuff
mhm,
out, and you want to explain it to your parents and help them out,
yeah,
but they're already comfortable. They're already set,
yeah.
and um, so it might even seem scamish to them, but
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's yeah.
it is, and I don't know. That's just how I feel about it now, and I refuse to let that happen
Mhm.
now. And I know that kind of went away from the 2 weeks, but the reason I bring that up is because that inspired the feeling of wanting to put in my 2 weeks. It was
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
can't happen to me.
Mhm.
This can't happen to us. This can't happen to this family. You and I have worked really hard, and that's great.
Mhm.
But I would argue that we were forced to work really hard, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
had kids, and
Yeah.
the kids always make it more difficult, etc. But
Mhm.
this is the type of world where if you don't do anything, you seem to fall apart really fast.
Oh yeah.
So we were always on our toes, but we were always just there, right? And then we would just
Yeah.
build up a little bit of money.
You have to want to go get it.
Yeah, but it wasn't. We were trying to get it. It just wasn't opening up for us, right?
Mhm.
It just felt like, damn it, like. And then when we found out what money was, when you do orange pill, when you go down the rabbit hole, whenever you start to understand that that game is built to go against you,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day, and it continues to do so. And then you start to find out, but it gives you an empowerment. It gives you like a kryptonite feeling, the
Mhm.
opposite of kryptonite. Instead of like sucking your life away,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know that asset fulfills your life. It makes you think clearer. It
It's
makes you,
empowering.
yeah, it makes you question a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
And I think that if the listener will take anything from this is if you educate yourself enough, and if you keep chopping wood, if you're patient enough, some things seem to work out. If I would have never went down the orange pill rabbit hole,
Mhm.
it might have not led to this. It might have not led to that. It might have not led to the
Yeah.
confidence to put in my 2 weeks notice or the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And people, I feel bad when people get complacent because they give up.
It's easy to give up.
That's what I mean. Don't give
Yeah.
up. That's the point of this episode. If you've already given in your 2 weeks notice and you're listening to us, you're probably relating to all the stuff we feel.
Yeah.
You probably have felt already, the anxiety and stuff like that. I've talked to a few
Mhm.
people that have put in their 2 week notice and they tell me the same thing. They felt the same exact way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm trying to capture more of the people that haven't put in their 2 week notice.
Yeah.
And
I always say it's gonna be hard either way. It's gonna be hard to stay stuck there, and it's gonna be hard to let that go and try something new. So
yeah,
choose your hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard regardless what you do. So you can either be miserable about it, or you have to at least start taking the steps to change that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
We make it sound so easy. We work extremely hard.
Oh no, this is a process.
Yeah, yeah. It takes so you doubt
It's a
yourself a
daily
lot.
struggle.
Yeah, you lose a lot. But
Hmm.
and I also like to use worst case scenario works with me in my mind.
Hmm.
Like whenever I get really nervous and anxious, I always give myself like, well, listen, at the very worst, I told myself I put in
Yeah.
my 2 week notice, and it's just a bunch of the hospital is always hiring.
Hmm.
So I'm like, at the very worst, that
Right.
always calmed me down. At the very worst, I just
Yeah.
come back, and I maybe I don't get this position, but I just work in the hospital again.
Hmm.
The door's open,
Yep.
and I think if you're trying to like talk yourself or convince your have the conversation with your spouse that you want to leave your job, yes, do the old school stuff, 6 months
Hmm.
worth of back, all that stuff, whatever. But always have a at worst case scenario. This is what I'm gonna do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few times we did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't think we have like a detailed plan or anything, but
Yeah,
at least had those basics,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we
Like
we, we had our safeguard.
yours was
Because we do
bacon.
have the kids, so we can't just go
Yeah,
all
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
about it. We need some.
We can't go
We need
hiatus.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yours
Um.
was bacon. That was your at worst case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to tell the listeners about that?
Whisk me away treats.
Yeah, awesome company.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
It's
biased, but I actually get
it's.
to taste everything, so I can say that.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people just like,
I'm
he
biased
would.
too.
Yeah, yeah, he would say that. No, listen, I taste it all. It's
No,
good.
it's
It's
great. It's
fantastic.
great.
But
It's not really boasting if it's true.
yeah, that's what I try. You have to taste it to see it. You have to like experience it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
even the visuals are doing good. But that was your, that's what
Hmm.
you talked yourself through, and we talked about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So how did it feel? You felt strongly about that. Why did you feel so strong about that?
Well, it's first of all, it's been going well.
Yeah,
I would say it's even
that always
better.
helps.
Yeah, it's been even before COVID. I mean, before that, it was just like, okay, maybe I can do this, and what am I gonna do? I think it was too spread out, but especially over this past year, um, it's given me a chance to kind of narrow down on some stuff, and you helped me with that too, because I know
Yeah,
sometimes I get too excited and want to
yeah,
do everything, but
yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah,
so you keep me on track. Um, but I've been having a lot more fun with it lately, and making it a little more stress free for
yeah,
me. Um, and I think that plays a big part. But it's been consistent, thankfully, to the clients, and
yeah.
they're coming back and they're referring, and
The work
that's
shows though.
huh?
The work shows.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Is that remember what I told you? Like
It's
this all started
exciting.
with sugar cookies.
It did. It did. And
Now nobody
that's so
wants sugar
funny.
cookies.
I
No, I'm
was. You can find me at.
kidding. But
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
yeah. So it just
Um.
shows how far you've come, right?
Yeah. No, it's just what, 3 years ago.
But that goes back to the
Three.
like keep chopping wood thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
Yeah.
but you
Take
know,
pictures. That's huge to see your own progress. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. See
Hmm.
the change for yourself. Don't take somebody's word for it. I love it. That's a good one. Trust. Don't trust, verify, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people could tell you your stuff is fire, but why don't you just compare it? Just read, or if you're
Yeah.
writing, read your old stuff and read your new stuff. If you're
Hmm.
baking, see some. That's interesting. That's really good. But the point is, guys, is that I don't know what the time frame is. You could put whatever 3 months ago, 6 months ago. She didn't, Irma didn't think that she would be still doing this. I mean, she kept chopping wood,
Yeah.
but the consistent orders sometimes evaporated. There were certain times that we
Yeah.
didn't have much of anything.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah. It's
but
like
you
a
kept
hot
fighting through
streak.
it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it was really hard during COVID last year when everything broke out, because it was like even the basic ingredients you couldn't find.
yeah,
So that was a little scary. It's just like, am
the
I even
struggle.
gonna make it through this? Am I gonna come back? And what's gonna happen?
Right.
So no, it's very exciting that everything now is even better than it was a year ago.
Yeah. But
So
only because you kept I keep thinking about like I've seen this, like I don't know if you call it a GIF because it doesn't move, but there's a meme
mhm.
where it's like the two diggers are like digging, and then one
Yeah,
turns around, and like the
yeah,
gold is
they're
like
still
right there.
there.
He was
That's
right
what
there,
I
but
always picture.
yeah, man. And I think about it like that because how often we've talked about it. How many times
Yeah.
have you said like, look, I'm gonna just change it to something else. I'm gonna do something else, or
Hmm.
like there was a few times where
Plenty of times. Yeah.
yeah, where Whisk Me Away was gonna turn into something completely different, right?
Hmm.
Because you would just the guy that was about to turn around with his pickaxe and
Yeah.
walk the other way. Same thing. Spotlight Coalition has turned into many different things before it's turned into what it is now and what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's important to be patient and keep going.
It is.
Um, yeah, I think for our lack of, you know, you need a perfect circle around you. You need people to keep
Mm-hmm.
you motivated, keep you going. I think we do that for each other more than we depend on the outside to do that. And I think that's
Definitely.
super important too.
Yeah.
Because when I told you I was going to put in my 2 weeks, I didn't, I always like to give you plans on stuff. Like, I'm going to do
Mm-hmm.
this, I'm going to do that. And I didn't have one. I was just like, look, I'm just really unhappy. I'll make sure
Yeah.
things happen. I'll sacrifice certain things. I just knew that I wouldn't let this family go into a rut.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but my wildest dreams didn't imagine is that, a few days later, you would be also joining me in that hiatus. And now we're
Yeah.
more empowered than ever.
Oh, for
By the way,
sure.
guys, when
Yeah.
you step over to the other side, like when those 2 week notices are in, it's incredible.
Yes. It's kind of you're just floating there.
Yeah, like I walk into work now like big headed as fuck. Like
Yeah.
I'm just there because I told you I would be here, but my
As a
mind,
courtesy to you.
yes, my mind is not here anymore. And it
Yeah.
feels really good, no matter how nerve wracking the thought is. I think in now's day and age, and I don't even
Hmm.
want to make this episode long, but now in this day and age, I think it's important for us to at least take a shot on ourselves,
We should. Yeah. We're our own worst critic.
even the parents,
Mm-hmm.
especially the parents. But I know having kids is, it's hard. It makes it harder.
Yeah.
It makes the uphill climb. But
That impossible.
right, not impossible. You can figure it out, and it takes a lot of balance. But you have to find something that you can contribute to the world and
Hmm.
continuously doing over again. That's why I'm so passionate on telling people to start podcasts,
Yeah.
because this is all cool. Camera, lights. Oh, fantastic. I started the first 40 something episodes of this podcast on my cell phone,
Hmm.
going to whatever quiet space I could find and just hitting the record button on my phone and saying a bunch of random crap. And then
Yeah.
getting like a rusty editor like Audacity and just putting it together. It's really
Hmm.
like you can do it with what you have. This is fantastic, but this is 90 episodes in. This is something that has changed. I mean, you add the other podcast and it's probably
Yeah.
over 100 and something episodes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is an evolution, like you said. I don't want to be the guy that
You can
takes the
hear your
pickaxe.
progress.
Huh?
So you can hear your progress.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
You can go back to the very first episode and
Oh,
now this
sure.
one and
I had no. I was trying to help businesses back then, and I still
hmm
listen. Whoever wants to reach out to me for that stuff, I'm here. I'm just on a different voyage in life, and now it's just this. It's being able
yeah.
to keep podcasting alive.
Hmm.
I know that sounds very well. Why would you do that? Because podcasts is
Hmm.
still early, and it's starting to get abused. Right now, these
Yeah.
companies are coming in and trying to make everybody a podcaster and put money into the.
Hmm.
And we need to save the voice because this may be all we got left in a world where everybody
Yeah.
is telling lies. We could record an episode with the truth and send it
Hmm.
all over the world. And we
Yeah.
don't need a big file to do so. That's important to me. But now I
You
can
don't
work
need a
on that.
middleman. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need the middleman. But now I can work on that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the point, guys. I took a chance on me. My wife was there all the way to say, "Hey, make sure you do it." And it's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait
You
to
have
see
to
what's
have fun
happening
with it.
next.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, what do you think is happening next? Have you thought about it too far yet? I mean, we're going to
Mm,
Austin. How do you feel about Austin?
I'm excited about that too.
I'm excited about Austin.
I know it's gonna be different. So
What do you mean? Hit me.
I've heard I don't know, just the culture out
Yeah.
there, I guess. Yeah.
I hear it's the sweetest people of all time, the
I
nicest
hope
people in the
so.
world.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. I've
I can't
spoken.
wait for the food.
That's a given. Yeah, but I've spoken to a bunch of individuals, and
Hmm.
all they've done from the right off the bat is, "How can I help you?"
Yeah.
Of course. And I mean, those people exist here. I just don't see them that often. I
Not
think a lot of
often.
people are kind of just on autopilot because. So I don't know what it is about that. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if it's the culture. I don't know whatever it is. I'm
Hmm.
excited about Austin.
Me too.
Big
Yeah.
things to come. Once again, to respect our plans and what we
Hmm.
got going on. We're gonna keep them private for you guys, but um,
We'll
keep
share the
sticking
fun
with it,
stuff.
huh?
So we'll share the fun stuff.
We'll share the fun stuff. Keep sticking with it. Keep supporting creators. Keep supporting local businesses because the way we leave the 9 to 5 is if we're creative and somebody
Hmm.
supports us. If we have a small business like yours, that somebody supports you.
Yep.
That's how we can continue. That's how we can get you to leave your 9 to 5.
And believing in yourself.
Yeah, that's the ceiling of the whole house right there. If you don't
Hmm.
believe in yourself, you have to find a way to. You have to read books. You have to get around people. You have to read motivational. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to believe yourself for a little bit.
Hmm.
This is the thing. Worst case scenario. We're terrible at deciding worst case scenario. Just think about like
Hmm.
as you get older, you get more. Think about our parents. As you get
Yeah.
older, you get more paranoid. Hey, listen, don't leave the screen door open because your kid's gonna walk outside and they're gonna land in the middle of the street, and
Yeah.
the truck is gonna come and run them over 4 times.
That's my dad.
Shout out to him. But you see what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
we can't try to predict what's about to happen
Mhm.
next because we're always gonna say, "Oh no, we're gonna be sleeping underneath a bridge with our kids,"
Mhm.
and I don't think people realize how hard that is to get to that position.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it can happen, but you got to believe that it won't happen. And
Mhm.
then, like I said earlier, give yourself worst case scenarios, and do a plan.
Mhm.
Work on something. Just something on the side. Write a little bit. Record
Yeah.
podcasts. Talk to people. Connect with people. It's all in who you know.
But you still have to put your work in too.
Yeah,
You can't just wait around for it either. But
that's another key thing we've hit on here is that
mhm.
you can't be the guy who walks away. You have to keep working until you find the gold. But persistence,
Mhm.
dedication, and just a belief system to
Yeah.
understand that we're here. We're here
Mhm.
recording this conversation. There was a lot of rough downs.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we're not as bad as most people. The positions we had
Mhm.
allowed us to be able to do many things.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything for granted from the company. I don't want to take anything
No.
for granted for whatever. But see you later.
See you later.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, nah. Guys, if you're listening to this episode was just I don't know, an episode to fill a week where I won't be here,
Enlightenment.
but an episode to make to share our news,
Mhm.
and be able to I don't know get somebody to leave their job. I know that sounds kind of like it
No,
doesn't
do it.
doesn't do anything for me for say if you leave your job. So this
Yeah.
isn't advice because if you need your
No,
job, you need your job.
don't just randomly leave if you actually need.
Yeah, but I'll give you another worst case scenario. There's so many jobs out there right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
they're giving bonuses to sign up because of what
Mhm.
Biden's doing and because of all this stuff.
Mhm.
So take a chance now.
Yeah, but it's so easy to even make a few dollars nowadays. It's
Yeah.
the push of a button on the internet,
OnlyFans.
and yeah, literally anything.
Yeah. If you guys like my feet, I'm about to put the camera on my feet. I got some nice hands too. You can make money off anything.
anything,
Yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Super interesting.
if it really gets to that point for you, but
I just agree. I think there's value to give to the world. And I
yeah,
mean, do I want to be a foot model? No.
yeah.
But if you're getting paid for having really good feet,
Hey,
rock on the feet. Get them
I
chancletas.
don't gotta show my face.
But yeah, the point is you could give value to somebody in the weirdest of ways. And I don't think people get that. I think people
Yeah.
think the stuff that they're good at is just for them
Mhm.
or that nobody cares about.
But
And
even just skill, like I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, that's what I learned in this
Yeah,
podcast. When people sit in front of me, for the most part, they think that their stuff is just that. And I'm
hmm
just over here across the table like,
yeah, yeah,
that's super dope. Like I don't know what it is that. So I feel I'm the same way. I feel the person that's sitting across from
yeah.
me is thinking the same thing. Like, dude, you got this figured out. I did not.
hmm
Not even close.
Yeah.
So love, I appreciate you coming back on.
Thank you.
When you guys are listening to this, we will be enjoying Austin. Some good food.
Oh yeah.
I hear there's great music, some good music, some good networking, hopefully, some good
Yep.
friendships.
Nice
Uh,
weather, hopefully too.
I'm sure it's going to be scorching down there, but some good stuff. What's next for you? Do you want to let the listeners know where to find you, Whisk Me Away, where they can find some pictures of what you do, how they can
Yes.
support you, because you just left your 9 to 5.
I did. So I'll be officially full time with Whisk Me Away Treats.
Boom, boom. I need
So
air
you can
horns.
find me. I know,
I
right?
need air horns. Adam knows.
Shout out to Adam.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Facebook at Whisk Me Away Treats and on Instagram at Whisk Me Away Treats _.
Go check her out.
Yes, and just send me a message and
Yeah.
we'll get planning your special
Hey,
occasion.
the summer's out here. We got
Mhm.
these events going on. We got these baby showers for these babies we even know we're coming. We got these quinceañeras. We got
Yeah.
we got these weddings.
Weddings are opening back up.
No more
Yeah.
face diapers. I know people probably gonna get mad at me for saying that. These people are gonna be tired right now. Why would he say that? All right, there's no mask. Let's go. Let's get out here.
Yeah,
let's
very
let's get some
exciting.
orders. There's a lot of events going
Mhm.
on. If you guys need some beautiful, home created,
Yep.
with
Custom cupcakes and
reach out to me.
decorated cookies and all that.
Yeah,
good
because
stuff.
she's working full time now on her passion, on her love.
Mhm.
And as always, guys, reach out to me. Let me know what you want to hear from the show. Tag some people that you may want to be conversating with. Tag us together. Maybe we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll get them down here to the studio so they can talk to you. We can
Mhm.
continue to have these conversations. Love, thank you
Maybe
so
get
much.
some free samples.
Some free Oh, if you come to the house, if you come to the house for the podcast, you're already in for some free samples. Can't hurt you there.
Nope.
I appreciate your love. I love you so much.
I love
I'm excited for what's to come.
Me too.
I don't know well, I do know hard work, dedication, all that stuff we talked about. But, very fortunate to have these dominoes play out the way they've played out. This journey with you has been an incredible one, and it just continues to go to the moon. Super
would
excited
agree,
for what's
yeah.
about to come.
Me too.
Guys, next week, have another conversation. It's summertime. People are canceling. People are moving their schedules around. And my life is doing this roller coaster effect right now. I'm going to try to give you guys these episodes as often as I can. But I will be in touch, even if I can't I'll give you some shorter pieces of content. I appreciate you guys. Rate, subscribe to the show. If you rate, you'll be able to, this podcast will be able to float up. More people can see it because the algorithm works that way. You have to rate it. You have to like it. If you don't like it, I'll take that too. But at least let me know why you don't like it so I can maybe fix that and get more people going on. We're on YouTube. Subscribe. All your favorite podcast apps, subscribe. Like I said, rate. If you're on the Lightning Network or if you have Strike or any type of Lightning ability, you're able to send some sats over my way. This is a podcast 2.0. Spotlight Coalition is going to do some incredible things.
Yeah.
Really excited for what's about to happen. More time to focus. If you're at your 9 to 5, start planning that escape route. Now may be your time to do it with everything that's going on in the world. But you have to bet on yourself. You have to show your kids, you have to show your others that you are worth it because everybody's worth it if they find their peace, if they find their little pillar. You got anything else to say to the people?
You deserve it. Break the cycle.
Absolutely. I love that. Guys, talk to you guys next week. Later. That right there wraps up another great conversation. I really appreciate every single one of you because without you guys listening to the show, I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I've been able to accomplish. I want you guys to know that I'm rooting for you, especially if you're somebody that's still got a 9 to 5. There is a way out. There is a way to contribute your value to the world. You just have to find it and be around other people that support it. That's it. Keep chopping wood. Be patient. As always, I appreciate you guys. If you like this episode, please rate, share, and subscribe. That's how I continue to have the conversations I love to have, and you continue to have the conversations you love to listen to. As always, guys, take care. Later.